I do not just say, this is my nephew. If you go on my Facebook, his pictures are everywhere. I want to make sure.
You have doubts?
Because if I have doubts and that is my brother, baby, I still want to be there.
No,
my
because
brother's
I
not
don't
there
want you to
for
be there.
him.
If you have doubts, there's no need for you to be in my child's life.
That's exactly why my brother said he didn't know.
I asked her mother that Jasmine was my firstborn, and that was good enough for me, Your Honor. We went on and had 4 more children after that, and they all belong to me. Now, my point in here, he would have addressed me before he sent her a Facebook or whatever. I know he couldn't be able to find me because we had no contact with each other.
She said her and her husband does a good job of taking
Fiance,
care.
and he do.
No,
and he do.
That's a text
and he
that
do.
was sent
and he do.
to me.
He has been a much better father than Quincy.
So,
trust that, because he stepped up. My daughter is going to call him dad. Quincy never been around.
Mrs. Thayer kicks off by hoping to glue what's left of her marriage back together. And boy, does she mean business. She's here to prove that Mr. Thayer is indeed the daddy-o of not one, but 2 munchkins, Cadence and Matthew Jr. Sounds like a Maury episode, doesn't it?
Miss Thayer, you are here today in hopes of saving what is left of your marriage. In doing so, you've summoned your husband, Mr. Thayer, to paternity court to prove that not only did he father your 19-month-old daughter, Cadence, also your 3-year-old son, Matthew Jr.
Mr. Thayer's on stage with trust issues thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. He's ready to hit the divorce button if the kiddos turn out not to be his. Talk about drama.
You say you absolutely do not trust your wife, and you are prepared to get a divorce today when the results reveal that either one or both kids are not yours.
We don't even have sex anymore. What married couple doesn't have sex? We're young. The back and forth arguing all the time. We argue so much that my son starting to get mad and yell and repeat some of the stuff that we say.
Oh yeah, they did. The Thayers initially signed up for a no-strings-attached fling, and now look where that got them. This backstory is juicier than a season finale cliffhanger.
So this doubt is wreaking havoc in your marriage.
Yeah, in my mind, we're basically separated because we don't sleep in the same room no more. When we're around each other, she's on her phone. We just sit in the same house and we don't even communicate no more. I don't feel that connection with her. Or the kids, for that matter.
All of this is because of the doubts regard to the paternity of the 2 youngest children.
Ms. Thayer hit Mr. Thayer with the "Ol' I'm pregnant" surprise, and suddenly things got real. This wasn't in their casual fling contract, folks.
At some point, you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, I didn't know what to say because I wasn't planning on having any more kids. I mean, I had 3 girls already, so I was already single mom.
Were you all using protection?
No.
Fail to plan to fail.
And then I believe she was pregnant before we even got together, because Matthew was born 3 weeks early. She told me about 3 weeks in that she was pregnant.
The emotional gloves are off, and these two are throwing accusations like confetti at a parade. Mr. Thayer's doubting the entire timeline, and honestly, who can blame him?
But you claim she was with somebody else approximately 3 weeks before.
It hurts. I mean, I love him or I wouldn't have married him. This is the person that I want to spend my life with.
This is my first child too, Your Honor. I was excited because I didn't have no kids, I didn't have a family or anything, and she was gonna give that to me. That I can grow with and I can watch them grow and I can teach them all the things that they're supposed to do in their life that I didn't do in mine.
Cue the suspicion music because Mr. Thayer can't figure out how they made baby Cadence when the bedroom's been colder than a penguin's toenails. Yep, he went there.
Your doubt surrounding Cadence. That is your younger child. You all have 2 children together, potentially.
Yeah, because around the time that she was conceived, we weren't really having sex.
Find out she's pregnant again and immediately doubt.
How are we gonna have a kid if we don't have sex?
So you testified earlier, Ms. Thayer, that you were in a sexless marriage.
Yes. I mean, when he's talking about with Cadence.
The results are in, and oh snap, it's not looking good for Ms. Thayer. The machine tagged her as more deceptive than a fox in a henhouse.
You'd like to tell us before I read these results.
Like I said, the only people that I messed with was during the break that we had that he's talking about where I moved out.
Ms. Thayer, you were asked, in the last 4 years, have you had sexual contact with anyone other than the 2 men you have previously disclosed? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
Drum rolls, please.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Thayer, you are the father.
I told you.
One of them.
I told you.
We still need Matthew.
You won't believe this. The crowd goes wild when Ms. Moore throws shade, claiming Mr. Butler's wife is playing puppet master with his doubts. Ms. Moore is all fired up, telling everyone that the only reason Mr. Butler is second-guessing fatherhood is because of his wife's sneaky ways, causing quite the stir among the audience. And guess what? The drama's just getting started.
Mr. Butler has doubts he fathered your 1-year-old daughter, and that's because of his manipulating wife. Mr. Butler, you argue you've been told on multiple occasions allegations by the plaintiff herself that you are not her child's father.
Oh snap. Here comes Mr. Butler with his own side of the story, doubting he's the daddy because Ms. Moore once told him he wasn't. He lays it out, recounting times Ms. Moore straight up denied his paternity, which gets the judge digging deeper. Buckle up because the roller coaster is about to drop.
One time was because he was harassing me, him and his so-called quote-unquote wife.
So you admit, Ms. Moore, you told him you're not the child's father.
One time.
It's happened because she told me I'm not the dad. She told me I'm not the father.
Why would she tell you that?
The baby don't even look like me.
This just got real. Ms. Moore and Ms. Harrison are now locking horns over whether Mr. Butler did his part as a dad. The clash heats up over some juicy texts about another dude stepping up as dad, showing just how messy this situation is. Keep your eyes peeled because there's more tea coming your way.
And
That's a text that was sent to me.
He has been a much better father than Quincy.
So,
trust that.
my husband do a good job keeping me and...
Because he stepped up. My daughter is going to call him dad. Quincy never been around.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. We're diving into the nitty-gritty of the pregnancy timeline, the court questioning when exactly Ms. Moore got pregnant. This critical convo throws some serious doubt on Mr. Butler's paternity claims. The plot thickens, and you'll want to stick around for the next twist.
The baby looked just like Quincy. Now, if she can't do the math, that's her problem. She needs to sit down. December 11th, the doctor told me I was 7.5 weeks.
And the baby was born...
July 26th. I had 2 dates. I had an emergency C-section on July 26th. Was Quincy anywhere to be around? No.
Tell me.
Here's a heart tugger for you. Ms. Moore shares the tough tale of her labor and the emergency C-section. It's a crucial point that highlights just how intense things were during the birth, with Mr. Butler nowhere in sight. The emotions are high, and the next part is sure to tug at your heartstrings even more.
My doctor came in and told me that my baby's heart rate was going down. She was getting less oxygen. I did not see my baby. I went to an emergency C-section. Out of recovery for 45 minutes, I touched my baby and signed my baby off, which is the city that he stays in. I did not tell him where my baby was. I know how mental he is.
Can you feel the drama heating up? Mr. Butler confesses he's torn about his role in his maybe daughter's life amidst the ongoing feud with the two leading ladies. His admission sheds light on his personal turmoil and the tangled web of emotions surrounding the paternity mystery. And hold tight, because the truth bomb is just about to be dropped.
That's because it's being tugged on.
I'm playing tug of war. If it's come back to be my daughter, I'm not gonna never see her.
And what is it? You feel like Ms. Moore wanted to be with you, and since that didn't work out, Zamar's her way of getting back at you?
Yes, ma'am.
Here it comes, big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Butler, you are her father.
Buckle up, folks! Ms. Sherman kicks things off by accusing Ms. Costello of mooching off her sad aunt both emotionally and financially. She's adamant that Ms. Costello is claiming her late brother fathered Ms. Costello's kiddo, and she's here to stop her aunt from spending a dime on a kid that might not be related. Stick around, it's just getting juicy.
Ms. Sherman, you claim the defendant is taking advantage of your grieving aunt emotionally and financially by claiming your deceased brother is her child's father. You need today's results because you won't allow your aunt to support a child who is not your brother's.
Things are heating up. We dive into the emotional deep end. Ms. Costello spills the beans about how supportive Ms. Thomas, the aunt, has been. Throwing baby showers, buying diapers, the works, all while denying she's taking advantage of anyone. She insists it's all on the up and up. Trust me, you'll want to see what's next.
My aunt threw Marissa a baby shower. She supports this baby financially, as in buying his diapers, his clothes, his food when he is at the house.
That's his family.
We don't know that.
To decide to
we don't
do
know
that.
that.
Erica was there with me at the hospital.
We don't know
when I had the baby. She videotaped the entire thing. And when Ryan was born, she saw the crown of his head and said, he is a Sherman.
Hold on to your popcorn. Ms. Costello lays out her love timeline like a soap opera, breakups, makeups, and everything in between. She details the roller coaster relationship with Ryan, adding layers of complication to the paternity drama. It's a hot mess and a half, and there's more chaos to come.
I found out I was pregnant in the middle of March. At that point in time, I contacted Ryan and I told him, hey, I think I'm pregnant. And at that point in time, he was like, well, is this my kid? And I said, well, I started to talk to somebody else. He started to talk to somebody else. And then towards the middle of, after me and the other guy had intercourse with each other, probably about a week later.
You're not ready for this twist. Ms. Sherman throws down the doubt card hard, fueled by rumors and whispers from her late brother about the baby's paternity. The convo takes a dive into their past flings and flirts, stirring up a paternity potboiler you can't miss. The tea is piping hot and it's about to spill.
I do not just say this is my nephew. If you go on my Facebook, his pictures are everywhere. I want to make sure. You see how my aunt is looking? How she is crying?
You have doubts?
Because if I have doubts and that is my brother, baby, I still want to be there.
No,
my
because
brother's
I
not
don't
there
want you to
for
be
him.
there. If you have doubts, there's no need for you to be in my child's life.
That's exactly why my brother said he didn't know.
Guess what? The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Nalencia Sherman and Ryan Costello Sherman is 97.8%. You are related.
In a twist right off the bat, Ms. Osborne drops a bombshell, accusing her mom of fudging the truth about who her real dad is, insisting it's gotta be Billy Jack Fitzmaurice. They've even called in the big guns with a paternity test to settle this family feud once and for all. Buckle up, because this family roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Ms. Osborne, you have brought your mother to court because you claim she lied to you about the identity of your biological father. You are here to prove Billy Jack Fitzmaurice is your dad. Finally prove the truth. You admit your daughter believed that Mr. Fitzmaurice was her dad, but now stand in court to prove that another man is her biological father.
When Savannah was just 12, out of the blue, her mom hints there might be another dad candidate on the scene. This bomb drops while they're chilling and watching TV, sparking a family drama that sends Savannah dialing her aunt for some serious backup. Grab your popcorn, folks. This soap opera's got more twists coming right up.
We were just sitting watching TV, and all of a sudden she looks at me, she says, you know, there's a possibility that another man could be your father.
And what was your reaction?
At the moment, I didn't know what to do. I kind of just left the room, went and called my aunt.
What happened?
Savannah was very upset because she thought that Billy, my brother, was not her father. I assured her that I believe 100% that Billy is her father.
Donna admits she let Savannah believe Billy was her pops because his family was stable enough to give her a good life. It's a bit of a whoopsie moment that opens a can of worms about family secrets and who's who. Hang tight, because there's more tea about to be spilled.
Yes, I told her that another guy could be her father, but I never told her that Billy Jack was her father.
For 12 years, who were you saying was her biological father?
I didn't say who was her father. And at the time his family took her in, I was young. I knew that they would have a good life for her, and they stepped up and asked to take her, and I knew that they could provide a better life for her at that time.
It's heating up as Donna spills the beans about juggling romances with Billy Jack and another mystery man during the crucial baby-making time. This confession tosses a wrench into the Who's the Daddy mystery, setting the stage for some major drama. Keep your eyes peeled. Plot's about to thicken.
Because I was back and forth between the two, I was with the other guy a lot more than I was with Billy Jack.
During the window of conception, you were sleeping with both men?
Yes. I just feel in my heart that the other guy is her father.
And I see you can't even look at your mother right now. You're not even turning your head.
Because I just want to know the truth of who my father is.
Savannah lays it all out, confronting her mom about the daddy dilemma that's been gnawing at her since she was 12. It's a full-on emotional unload where secrets spill and tears flow. This is some grade A drama. Guess what? It ain't over yet. There's more heart-to-hearts on the way.
It really feels horrible to not know who my real father is. After growing all these years to believe somebody else was my father, and it couldn't be.
I am sorry, Savannah. You was young. When you was 12, figured that you was old enough to be able to handle it. So I waited to help you because I didn't know how you would react being so young and me telling you that, if it would confuse you more.
You can almost hear the sad violins as Savannah talks about the pain of dragging her mom to court over this paternity pickle. It's a rough ride, and she's just looking for some honest answers. Don't go anywhere. Auntie's about to step into the spotlight, and she's got a story to tell.
At the end of the day, it must hurt that you had to drag your mother to court today.
Yes, it really does, but I need to know the truth. Brought up on a lie, I have to know.
Because the young woman you believe is your niece.
Yes, Savannah is my niece, and I love her dearly. And we were always told from day one from Donna that Savannah was our I call her our baby, but our niece.
Auntie Brooks jumps in with a backstory that's part soap opera, part reality TV. She reminisces about the shock and awe of Donna joining the family under, let's say, colorful circumstances. The family saga unfolds with more layers than a reality TV show marathon. And yep, there's even more juicy bits to come.
So when he brought Donna home, we were a little shocked because at the time she was working as a stripper. We didn't know what to believe, but we believed my brother, Donna, both when they said that Billy was her biological father, that she was pregnant with Savannah, and that was our family.
I had told both men that I was pregnant.
And now we're talking about whether these sisters might have different dads, which just adds more spice to this already zesty family gumbo. The chat turns to similarities, suspicions, and family whispers that have everyone guessing. Stay tuned, because the DNA results are about to drop.
So growing up, you just felt like I have a sister, but we have two different fathers.
I also believe Billy could be her father.
Oh, really?
Because at the time that Donna conceived Miss Patton, she was also with my brother, back and forth between my brother and the other man. And I see similarities between Mrs. Patton, this is his other daughter here, Marissa, and Savannah.
And bam!
It has been determined by court. Ms. Brooks and Savannah are related.
Here we go. Miss Hayslip rolls up with a big claim, ready to stir the pot. She's here to prove that Mr. Hayslip, who she insists is her dad, really is her biological father. She's even brought her aunt along because, hey, you gotta have a cheer squad for moral support, right? This is just the opening act, folks. The scene is set for some real family drama.
You are seeking a DNA test to prove that Mr. Hayslip, the defendant, is your biological father. You've believed he is your biological father for many years, yet you say he has never allowed you into his life at the time of your conception, but you claim you were always told that Mr. Hayslip was your father.
And bam, the plot thickens. Mr. Hayslip fires back, determined to prove he's not the father. He's been dishing out child support for 19 years, and now he's had enough. He even wants Miss Hayslip to drop his last name like it's hot, no matter what the test results say. Stick around, because you won't believe what he says happened to him next.
Now, Mr. Hayslip, you say you want to prove that Miss Hayslip is not your biological daughter today. You admit to being very angry because you claim you've been forced to pay child support for the past 19 years for a child you did not father, so that she no longer has yours after today's test results are revealed.
Yeah. Hold the phone. This just got juicy. Imagine minding your own business, driving, and boom, cops pull you over and drop a child support bomb on you. That's Mr. Hayslip's story, and he's sticking to it. He had no clue until a cop slapped cuffs on him and spilled the beans. What's next? Miss Hayslip's going to hit you right in the feels with her side of things.
I had moved from southern Michigan to northern Michigan. I was on my way back, about a 200-mile trip to southern Michigan. I was pulled over for speeding. He said, you have a failure to pay support.
And this was the first time you're driving along routine traffic stop and they say this to you?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, they handcuffed me, and when they did, I was pretty mad, and I struggled a little bit with him.
Grab your tissues! Miss Hayslip shares how she grew up always believing Mr. Hayslip was her dad because, well, that's what her mom told her. Despite him being more ghost than dad, she hung on to that belief. But wait till you hear about the plot twist at school that cranks up the drama to a whole new level.
That you were told as a child.
As I was growing up, I knew David as my father. And then my mother would tell me that he had nothing to do with me. He never wanted anything to do with me, but was trying to get with her.
As a child, what's your first memory where your mother told you?
It was around 5. She told me that he could be my father, but earlier she always said David Hayslip.
Talk about a schoolyard scoop. Miss Hayslip and a girl named Courtney Hayslip discover they might be sisters. That's one heck of a how's your father moment, literally. They piece together their family puzzle right between math and lunch period. You won't believe the bombshell Miss Hayslip drops next about her stint in foster care.
I met one of the Hayslips in school, which is Courtney. And I told her that my dad was David, and she also said that was her father. And she went home to my Aunt Susie and told her that she met me. My Aunt Susie told the truth.
Up until that point, you all going to the same school and don't know
Yes,
you're
Your Honor.
potentially sisters?
Yes.
For a long time, they rode the same school bus and didn't even know it.
Here comes a heart-wrencher. Miss Hayslip throws down the big question. Why didn't Mr. Hayslip take her in, leading to her long years in foster care? It's a moment that could make onions cry. Just you wait until Mr. Hayslip spills the beans on his legal battles. It's a real doozy.
And then finally, after several months, she finally set it up to where that I could meet Celeste. My first impression of her, I thought she looked a lot like me when I was little. We had a bond that we had connected, and then we started getting close, and then her mother, a long time, and the next thing you know, they put her into foster care.
5.5 years.
I just want to know why, if you knew me back then, why didn't you try to get it taken care of back then?
Strap in for some legal labyrinth tales. Mr. Hayslip dives into how he's been duking it out with the law, trapped by a default paternity rule. He's convinced it's all a big mistake, but the drama is just heating up because his daughter Courtney is about to step into the spotlight with some skepticism of her own.
That's not even part of my family, and I've fought, it's Cass County, Michigan. Every month, I have filed paperwork with them. They deny me. Since I didn't answer the letter, the original letter for the blood, back then it was a blood test, then I was deemed the father by default. And then they're saying there's nothing I can do to get a DNA test. I'm just, for 18 years, I'm stuck paying child support no matter what because I had a fling.
Cue the suspense music. Courtney Hayslip steps up and shares why she's not buying the sister story. Turns out Dad never mentioned anything about having another daughter. If secrets were a sport, Mr. Hayslip might be league champion. But hold on to your popcorn. The DNA results are up next, and it's a real cliffhanger.
Are you doubtful that she is your sister?
A little bit, because I've never been told about her. I wouldn't think that he would deliberately try to hide something from the family if he knew it was his.
I had 2 other children from another mother. After my marriage had broken up,
yes,
I had gotten with someone else. I did not hide those children from them or anything. I told them straight up, hey, you got a brother, you got a sister, here they are, let's meet them.
You can't make this stuff up. DNA results are in, and guess what?
In the case of Hayslip versus Hayslip, when it comes to Celeste Hayslip, Mr. Hayslip, you are her father.
So get this, Mr. Thompson strides in, totally convinced he's the dad. He's like, I've never met Ms. Robinson, but today's DNA test will totally show she's mine. Stick around to see how Mr. Fresneda reacts to that bomb.
Mr. Thompson, you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Fresneda, to court to prove that you, not he, fathered Ms. Jasmine Robinson. You've never met Ms. Robinson, but say today you'll prove she's yours.
Plot twist, Mr. Thompson spills the beans about his past fling with Ms. Robinson's mom when Fresneda was out of the picture. He dipped out when Fresneda came back, but now he's all, she looks like me. The next bit will have you rolling.
Me and her mother had relations while Miss Fresneda was away. When Miss Fresneda came back into the picture, I stopped seeing Sonia, and she was pregnant. Child was born. Family members came to me stating, that she looks like me and things of that nature. Sonia said no, she knows who she got pregnant by.
Here's the kicker. Thompson got a call that Robinson's mom passed away, and apparently her last wish was this paternity test. He's here with heart on sleeve, trying to prove he's the dad. Up next, Ms. Robinson drops her side of the story, and it's a doozy.
It's sorry to say, but, I got a phone call saying that she had passed away. And I was like,
are you speaking of Jasmine's mother, Ms.
Yes,
Robinson's mother?
Yes. It was her wishes to say that it was Mr. Fresneda's baby. They raised her, but I'm here today to prove that I am the father. In my heart, she's my daughter.
So, Ms. Robinson's chilling one day when, boom, Mr. Thompson slides into her DMs back in 2010. Fast forward to 2015, he hits her up again with the big dad reveal. Wait till you see how Mr. Fresneda takes this news.
5 years later, 2015, he had reached out to me again. I have a copy of the Facebook message that he sent me saying like, hi, do you know who I am? And I had said no. And then that's when he had started explaining the situation of how he's supposed to be my dad and not George, and it was a big secret, and like everybody knew but nobody said anything about it.
And here comes Mr. Fresneda, totally aware of the whole dad drama. He's wishing Thompson had just come to him first instead of going through Facebook. Things are about to get real spicy with Aunt Felicia stepping into the mix.
I asked her mother that Jasmine was my firstborn, and that was good enough for me, Your Honor. We went on and had 4 more children after that, and they all belong to me. Now, by point in here, he would have addressed me before he sent her a Facebook or whatever. I know he couldn't be able to find me because we had no contact with each other. He lives in one town and I live in another.
Hold on to your popcorn because Aunt Felicia is about to stir the pot. She's seen some family resemblances that she just can't ignore and thinks there might be more to the story. The DNA results are up next, and they're a real game changer.
Did she ever mention to you that Mr. Thompson could potentially be Ms. Robinson's father?
She always denied it. If we brought it to her attention, she always said that Ladden was not Jasmine's father. Because as Jasmine was growing up, I, as the aunt, started seeing a little difference in the children.
You did?
I did.
The moment of truth. Judge whips out the DNA results, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Thompson. You are her father.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
But we had sex when that was like 4 or 5 days after my birthday.
So that's your.
Would you say the whole
Do
weekend?
the math.
One day.
I said the whole course of the relationship.
Ain't no relationship. Stop lying.
You got a calendar from 24 years ago?
Hey, listen, baby,
I don't even
I do
keep a
my
calendar
homework.
from last, but you got a calendar from 24 years
Dig,
ago.
I do my homework. I created a calendar to illustrate, but 3 months later, she tell me she's pregnant a month later.
So, get this. Judgment is for the plaintiff, Ms. Stewart. She claims she and Mr. Anderson were an item for 6 months, 20 27 years back, resulting in their kid, Christopher. She accuses Mr. Anderson of playing hide and seek with his dad duties. But stick around, it only gets juicier.
Miss Stewart, you say a 6-month relationship with Mr. Anderson 27 years ago resulted in the birth of your son, Christopher. You say Mr. Anderson is a deadbeat who's been running from his responsibility all this time, and you intend to prove paternity today.
You won't believe this bit. Mr. Anderson fires back, calling Ms. Stewart a bit too friendly with too many, chasing child support like it's her job, and totally clueless about who the real daddy might be. He's adamant he's not the father. Oh boy, wait till you hear Ms. Stewart's comeback.
You say Miss Stewart was a promiscuous two-night stand who is upset child support money and has no idea who her child father is. Say there is no way you are her son's father.
Things are heating up. Ms. Stewart doubles down, insisting Mr. Anderson has been dodging his dad duties. Mr. Anderson is not having it, claiming he's been in and out of court trying to sort this mess. Buckle up, the drama is ramping up.
I'm here to prove that Tony Anderson is a deadbeat father.
I object, Your Honor.
I've been going back and forth to court to try to establish paternity.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Because he is Chris' father. It's time for him to man up. We dated for 6 months, Your Honor.
She's a lie.
You say it wasn't 6 months, Mr.
No,
Anderson?
we only messed around twice. We was more or less friends with benefits.
No way, did he just say that? The argument heats up with Mr. Anderson, recalling a rather flattering comparison of himself to a pork chop by Ms. Stewart during their first meet. Yep, you read that right. And guess what? There's more hilarity ahead.
We talked on the phone for about 2 months. She came to my house, she was looking at me like I was a pork chop. You know what I'm saying? So
you wasn't tasty.
Look, very much.
Because you only cook beans and rice food.
Well, I count on one hand how many times I've ever seen her in my whole life.
That's a lie.
You say you dated for 6 months.
That's
this fool in February of '91. We was in a relationship. The last time I chilled with him was in August.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Mr. Anderson tries to set the record straight with a Labor Day weekend timeline that he says proves he couldn't be the dad. He's pretty firm on this point. Keep watching, because this roller coaster is about to go off the rails.
We got Labor Day weekend.
Oh, so in yellow, you have Christopher Stewart's birthday is February 19th, where you had the 2-night stand was Labor Day weekend.
Yes, ma'am. She came in the van, her and her friends, they took us to the beach, and we had sex in the van. That was the second time.
Second time.
I'm lying.
I'm listening. Second time.
She was already 2 months pregnant.
Can you handle this? They delve into the nitty-gritty of their brief fling, with Mr. Anderson insisting it was just a birthday bash booty call. Ms. Stewart disagrees. Things are about to get even spicier, so don't go anywhere.
I met Mr. Anderson February. The last time me and him slept together throughout the whole 6 months was his birthday week. His birthday was in August.
I mean,
your birthday not in August 27th.
But we had sex when that was like 4 or 5 days after my birthday.
So that's your.
What you said the whole
do
weekend?
the math.
1 day.
I said the whole course of the relationship.
Ain't no relationship. Stop lying.
This part's a doozy. Ms. Stewart spills the beans about telling Mr. Anderson about the baby bump. He supposedly said, nah, you trippin'. He was MIA at the birth. Didn't sign the birth cert. Nada. What's next? You'll crack up at his excuse.
You find out you're pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you tell Mr. Anderson?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
And what does he say?
I'm tripping. Who the daddy?
Then obviously he wasn't a part of the birth process, wasn't there when Christopher was born. Did you put his name on the birth certificate?
No, Your Honor. He was not present.
Your Honor, that's not true. When that boy was 2 days old, I came over there with some diapers.
You're not ready for this. Ms. Kuryuchurn-Sar, Ms. Stewart whips out the big guns. Proof of Mr. Anderson owing over 20 grand in child support. Mr. Anderson admits it, but isn't happy about the figure. Strap in, the next part is a wild ride.
The reason why we probably here today, because when I was contacted, I received a letter in the mail from the Texas Attorney General. They've been compensating money from him. It's a debt for over $20-some thousand that he owed. I got the paperwork right here.
Let me see
this
paperwork.
Just like you
what
ran
you mean?
for
The DNA test the whole life.
It would make sense. Run did, but I ain't running now because it really don't matter because he grown.
And boom goes the dynamite.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Anderson, you are the father.
Can you even believe this bombshell? Jasmine Degree learns from her mom when she was just a sprout at age 9 that Mr. Little might actually be her bio dad. Big yikes considering she thought someone else was. This whole truth bomb came after Mr. Little had been denying paternity left and right despite admitting he and Jasmine's mom had a bit of a fling back in the day. The courtroom is buzzing and you can cut the tension with a knife. Just when you think it can't get wilder, buckle up because it does.
The whole world changed when you were just 9 years and your mother revealed to you that your dad was not your biological father. He's denied you ever since. Mr. Little, you say you are 100% certain you are not her father.
Talk about a wild phone call. At the ripe old age of 11, Jasmine decides to play detective and rings up Mr. Little to chat about dad stuff. Mr. Little is all DNA test or bust, despite barely knowing who Jasmine is. This early clash sets the stage for a bunch of drama and messy emotions all over the courtroom floor. Hold on to your popcorn because the next scene is a doozy.
And I called him up on the phone, who my mother was and what I believe. He don't know, he need a DNA test, he don't think so, and...
Mr. Little, you told an 11-year-old you needed a DNA test?
Yes, I did.
Get a load of this guy in the middle of a heated throwdown. Mr. Little whips out a calendar from 24 whole years ago as his so-called proof, trying to dodge the conception timeline like it's dodgeball. This moment really shows how far Mr. Little is willing to go to prove he's not the father, turning the courtroom into a reality show set. And just when you think this couldn't turn up a notch, it totally does.
You got a calendar from 24 years ago?
Hey, listen,
wow.
man,
I don't even
do
keep
my
a calendar
homework.
from last, but you got a calendar from 24 years
Dig,
ago.
I do my homework. I'm a creative calendar to illustrate, but I don't know if she Houdini or what. How do you come up 3 months later pregnant?
Plot twist incoming. Mr. Little spills the beans about getting blindsided with child support deductions from his paycheck, swearing up and down that it's a mistake. This twist throws a whole new layer of financial drama into the mix, proving that paternity puzzles can hit the wallet too. Stick around because the next part is just as juicy.
If they start taking stuff out my check, I'm called, I want to take a DNA test because I want to get it stopped. I call this number, they tell me they taking money out. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's not my child. She done told me twice it wasn't mine.
Oh boy, here's where it gets even stickier. After the garnishment gets halted, Jasmine's mom gets grilled about whose name she dropped for the paternity rodeo when she signed up for welfare. Turns out, it's not just Mr. Little on the potential daddy list. This part dives deep into the sticky web of social and legal drama, showing just how tangled these tales can get. You're not going to want to miss what happens next. Things get real.
Going to exist where you needed to?
No, Your Honor, because I would have appeared.
When you were asked to give a name, did you give only his name or were there multiple?
Cannon Little name.
It should have been multiple names.
Crank up the drama meter. Jasmine lays it all out, airing her frustration over how long it's taken to figure out if Mr. Little is her dad or not. She's like, dude, I found you in 5 minutes. What's your excuse? Frustration highlights not just the emotional toll, but also the slapstick of the situation as she steps up to call out the absurdity. The reveal coming up is absolutely not to be missed. It's a total showstopper.
And I'm not saying he is my father, I'm not. And I was 11 years old, it took me 5 minutes to get in contact with him. So you telling me it took you 21 years? I mean, how was it that hard? So you must have not been searching. Our family members is married, so how can it be that hard to get?
And here's the big reveal. Drum roll, please.
Mr. Little, you are her father.
Mr. Moore strides into court today, all geared up to prove he's the real deal dad of 4-year-old Allie Luna. He's totally convinced that the defendant, Ms. Scott, has been playing with his emotions by letting another dude play dad. He's here to squash those doubts and slide into his daughter's life, like he's sliding into home base. Just you wait for what Ms. Scott has to say about this.
You came to court today to prove you are the biological father of 4-year-old Aliana, and your current girlfriend claim the defendant has played on your emotion and has allowed another man to raise your little girl. You are desperate to put the defendant's doubt to rest so you can finally end your daughter's life.
Judge Lake's on the case, poking at why Mr. Moore hasn't seen his supposed daughter. Turns out Ms. E. Scott's been blocking him harder than a goalie at a soccer match. No calls, no texts, nada. The audience's jaws drop as Mr. Moore lays out his failed attempts to connect. Hold on to your popcorn, because there's a juicy bit coming up about why Ms. Scott's keeping him at bay.
I've never seen my child a day in my life.
But you're convinced she's your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why hasn't he seen her? If he feels that way, why hasn't he tried to see her?
I've tried to see her, Your Honor. She blocked me sources of contact. She even changed her number. I tried to reach out to her on social media. I couldn't even get through on that.
Never about seeing her, never. Only thing he ever said was, that's my child.
The beans spill as Mr. Moore drops a bombshell that Ms. Scott was also seeing another guy around the time Allie Luna was conceived. The crowd goes wild. Judge Lake points out that while this might make you scratch your head, it doesn't mean you can just block a guy out. Stay tuned. The saga of their past relationship is about to unfold.
Because she had sex with another guy at the time.
Well, that's reason to doubt.
Yes.
But not denied. That's what you're saying.
Sure.
It still remains that you are a possibility. So now, what was the nature of your relationship?
We met on a dating site. He was kind of like an escape plan for something that I was on.
An escape plan?
Yeah.
Escape plan?
Mr. Moore and Ms. Scott swiped right into a whirlwind romance and shacked up almost instantly, but only for a hot minute. This fleeting fling is now at the heart of the paternity puzzle. Coming up, Ms. Scott's got a pregnancy announcement that'll throw everyone for a loop.
Your Honor, we had sex the first night I met her.
We so did not. It was not the first night. It was early, but it wasn't the first night.
Did you use protection?
No, it wasn't protected.
So you moved in for a month. Were you faithful during that month?
Like, I was currently in a relationship when I met him originally.
Allie Luna's birth certificate is missing Mr. Moore's name, but she's rocking the last name of Ms. Eve Scott's current guy. This nugget of info hits the court like a slapstick punchline. They squint at the birth certificate details, noting Mr. Moore's absence. But don't go anywhere. The social media drama is about to ramp up.
Is he on Aliana's birth certificate, your boyfriend?
He is mentioned on all of her hospital paperwork, and she has his last name.
Under child's name, it reads Aliana Janelle, and then for father's name, there's no name listed.
But they allowed me to give my daughter her dad's name, even though his name isn't on there because he physically wasn't there.
Enter Ms. Williams, Mr. Moore's main squeeze, who stirs the pot with tales of social media shade that hint Ms. Scott might think Mr. Moore could actually be the father. Social media is turning this courtroom drama into a soap opera. Buckle up, as the DNA results are just around the corner, and you won't believe this twist.
How I heard of Adriana, and this is why I say he's the father, because when me and Mr. Moore first got together, I had posted Duntavius on social media. Miss Scott here, she commented on there, was like, I hope you got money for a baby wife.
Never. Why would I do that? He not her daddy.
On top of that, right after when I had our son together in 2016, Mr. Moore had posted my son on social media.
The big moment's here, and Judge Lake's about to drop the DNA truth bomb. The court's buzzing. Everyone's on edge. This is the make or break moment. Keep your eyes peeled. The truth's about to blow the roof off this place.
If a test, which it shouldn't, there's no way a test should say that he is the dad, but if it does, then hey, we will make efforts to have some type of relationship built with them too, because it's not for me, it's for.
It has been determined by this court. Moore, you are the father.
Can you believe this? Right out of a soap opera, Ms. Fuller drops a huge bombshell that the man on her birth certificate isn't her real dad. Instead, her mother whispered with her last breaths that her true pops was a famous singer, the main squeeze of her life. Talk about starting off with a plot twist. Just wait until you hear what's coming up.
Miss Fuller, you say that on your mother's deathbed, she confessed your dad was not the man listed birth certificate. You claim she then told you that your biological father was actually a well-known singer who was also the love of her life.
All right, hold on to your popcorn, folks. After a wild goose chase, Ms. Fuller finally tracked down this mystery crooner who's literally chilling outside the courtroom as we speak. The audience can't even. They're all gasps and drop jaws. And Judge Lake, she's all in. Buckle up, because their face-to-face is going to be epic.
Hey, you say you finally tracked him down and he's waiting outside of the court. Now, while you have doubts whether he is actually your biological father, you confess he's your last hope.
Grab the tissues, here's where it gets extra. Ms. Fuller unpacks years of daddy issues, telling us about the day her stand-in dad bounced and spilled the beans that he wasn't her biological father. This news hit her like a truck full of bricks, and honestly, it's been a roller coaster ever since. And just when you think you've caught your breath, there's more to this family drama.
And I took and carried that with me for a long time. I'm 47 years old. I just like some answers. I've got a lot of mixed emotions. I've never needed a father. I've always tried to carry on my life without knowing where I come from. You know, I've been pretty displaced right now. I'm really just looking for some answers, and I need closure.
Hold the phone, folks. Just before she kicked the bucket, Ms. Fuller's mom threw out a name, Cornelius. Yup, that supposedly dear old dad, by the way, was a sax-toting heartbreaker. So Ms. Fuller hit the web, detective hat and all, to track this dude down. Next up, she finds something in her mom's old records that'll knock your socks off.
So my mom on her deathbed, she died about a year ago, less than a year. She told me that really my father is possibly Cornelius. Didn't know who that was and who he is. Possibly.
So she just gave you a name?
Gave me a name, and she said that basically that he was a saxophone player, he was a musician. And I thought, wow, okay. I found a record in her stuff. Once I heard it, I just was...
You're not ready for this. Ms. Fuller whips out a vinyl record in court like it's show and tell, and guess what? It's got a track her supposed dad wrote all about her mom, Lorraine. If that ain't a clue, I don't know what is. The lyrics? Mushy as heck. Stick around because their first meeting is about to turn the tearjerker up to 11.
And this is song your alleged father wrote about your mother? So that was the song, Lorraine. That's your mother's name.
Yeah.
Here it comes. Ms. Fuller and Mr. alleged dad Neil finally meet, and it's as awkward as a high school dance. There's hugging, there's crying, and the audience is eating it up. They've got a lifetime of catch-up to do in like 5 minutes. You won't want to miss how Mr. Neil handles the spotlight.
Thank you.
Mr. Neal, thank you so much for being here today. We are here because, of course, Ms. Fuller found you, Facebook, she says, and reached out to you. She believes there's a possibility you may be her biological father. Do you remember her mother, Lorraine?
Yes, I was singing in a band at the time.
Oh boy, here's the tea. After Lorraine got hitched to another dude and skipped town, Neal couldn't shake her off. So what did our Romeo do? He tracked her down for one last fling. Yep, it's as scandalous as it sounds. But wait till you hear what happens when the DNA results come in.
Well, yes, I knew she had married somebody else because I knew the guy. He was from the same hometown. She got married and left town. I didn't know where she had. I found out that she was in San Bernardino. So me and my brother drove to San Bernardino to the place I thought she was at. And I knocked on the door and she came to the door.
She did.
Get ready for the big reveal.
As to whether Mr. Neal is her biological father. Mr. Neal, you are not Miss Fuller's father. I'm sorry, Miss Fuller.
Buckle up, folks! Ms. Cotton is spilling the tea that Mr. Pendleton denies being the father of their 5-month-old daughter, Love, because his mom is whispering doubts in his ear. She's dead sure he's the dad and is here to clear the air today. Get ready! The next part is a doozy.
Miss Cotton, you say Miss Pendleton's meddling mother is the reason he is denying your 5-month-old daughter, Love Cotton. You claim you are 100% positive the father and plan to set the record straight today.
Oh boy, here we go! Mr. Pendleton and his mom have entered the chat, both firmly in the camp that he couldn't possibly be Love's dad due to some fertility doubts. Mom's not just in his life, she's in his business too.
Mr. Pendleton, you are here today with your mother, and you both believe that it's impossible that you fathered Miss Cotton's daughter because you claim you are unable to have children.
And it gets juicier. Ms. Cotton is firing back, saying Love is practically Mr. Pendleton's twin, minus her own features. She's fuming over him not stepping up, blaming it all on his overbearing mom. Hang tight, because it's about to get even spicier.
I just want to say his mother needs to mind her business. Like, at the end of the day, Darren is a grown man. And I understand he's a mama's boy, but he's a grown man now, and he needs to stand up and take care of his responsibility. Like, my daughter looks exactly like him, and I really not figure out how he denies her.
Your Honor, she don't look nothing like that. None of my features, my nose, my mouth, my eyes, nothing. And on spite of that, I've been in a relationship for 8 years prior to this.
You'll want to hear this. Amidst all the drama, Ms. Cotton doubles down, blaming the paternity denial on Mr. Pendleton's mom playing puppet master. The audience is eating it up. Watch closely because things are about to get more tangled.
You say he's denying your baby.
Yes.
And you say it's his mother. She's meddling.
Well, she said she was with another man at the same time.
What was the nature of this relationship? Admitted, or what were you
we were together for a while and then we separated, but we were still having sex.
So how many years? How long?
About 10 months separated, and then we were still, dealing with each other.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, boom, Ms. Cotton drops a bombshell. There was another man in the mix around baby making time. Trust and responsibility are flying out the window now. But wait, there's more drama brewing.
I slept with one person in April.
Okay, so you slept with somebody.
Right, but how many times though? Like, tell me it was once.
One time in April.
But how can I believe
when I'm
at
saying the end of the day, I'm a grown woman. I can do whatever I want.
So how are you 100% sure?
You slept with somebody in April. The court records say that your child born in December, right? Landed April at 9 months.
Oh, snap. Turns out the plot isn't just thick, it's complicated. Ms. Cotton admits the other guy might have ditched protection mid-encounter, shaking up her 100% certainty claim. Keep your eyes peeled. The next revelation is a real kicker.
From when you slept with the other guy?
Yes.
But you did have sex with someone else, and was it protected or unprotected?
It was protected until he took the condom off.
And that would be unprotected.
But she's 100% sure.
The question of the day, besides the paternity.
Because allegedly but she a baby. She ain't got her features yet.
Don't get me wrong. She have her features
don't get me wrong.
Like,
she beautiful, but I can't, she a baby.
Get ready for a curveball. The judge is now dissecting the pregnancy timeline after that potential second dad bombshell, trying to pin down the conception mystery. The truth is stranger than fiction here, folks. The verdict's coming up, and you won't believe it.
Does the doctor ever verify that the timeline that you believe to be true is? That's the testimony I was trying to get. So now you told Mr. Pendleton that he is the biological father based upon the due date. Did you tell this other guy that he was a possibility?
He's relevant.
No, but did you tell him he was a possibility?
I found out all the stuff that was going on. I'm honest with him as well.
That's my point.
Here's where it gets real. The spotlight shifts to Mr. Pendleton's role, or lack thereof, in Love's life. Ms. Cotton's not holding back on her disappointment with his daddy duties. The final showdown is upon us. It's gonna be epic.
What has Mr. Pendleton done for her?
Honestly, spent a little bit of time, got her on a couple weekends.
Yeah, and I've kept her over weekends. I took her out down Philly. I take her out and have fun with her.
Are you supporting her financially?
No.
I do what I can for her when I can. All right, whatever.
It's no.
The big reveal is finally here. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pendleton, you are the father.
What I'm going to the hospital for? Right then and there, y'all could have got a DNA test done on that day.
Why didn't Mish call? Why is she going through you all the time? She's a grown woman.
You're right. Why did she go through me? But
y'all
don't like me. Y'all hate me.
You with your child, you be a woman about it.
So when I walk to the car, I hear the noises and I knock on the window and she blatantly give me the look like, and so what? You see what I'm doing? Cheating.
So your wife was having sex with another man in a car out front of your house?
Yeah.
All right, here's the scoop. Ms. Brogdon rolls up in court with a mission to prove Ms. Jones's late son Tyrell is the daddy of her little one, Quamira. She's all, once the DNA drops the truth bomb, I'll better step up for my baby. Ms. Brogdon shares her struggles as a solo mama bear to a kiddo who barely knows her pop's side of the fam.
In court to prove to Ms. Jones and her daughter that her deceased son Tyrell Jones fathered your 1-year-old daughter, Quamira. You say once the DNA proves your case, Ms. Sugden, you say without a doubt that your brother did not father Ms. Brogdon's daughter. You say the stress of her accusations hit your mother greatly and is preventing her from healing after the loss of her son.
Boom, plot twist. Ms. Sugden, Tyrell's sis, throws shade, claiming Ms. Brogdon played the field with not one, but 2 brothers. Court's all ears, trying to untangle this paternity pretzel. Ms. Brogdon slaps back, denying the baby daddy drama. Just when you think it can't get any spicier, it does.
I don't think that's my brother's baby. I don't.
Why?
Tamisha, first of all, slept with 2 of my brothers. So that's what left me like, I can't trust anything she says, honestly. I mean,
she slept with
2 of my brothers.
And that's true, Ms. Brogdon?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you're in court saying that Tyrell is your daughter's father. He potentially be the child's father too?
No, Your Honor. I heard otherwise.
Things get real. Ms. Jones and Ms. Sugden grill Ms. Brogdon about whether Tyrell really wanted to be a dad, saying she only named him after he couldn't defend himself. Accusations fly left and right, turning the courtroom into a hot pot of family. Buckle up, because the emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
He's not my child's father at all. We don't know who your baby daddy is. And my brother's living with, he has to live with because of it. Now he has to carry this with him. It's affecting our family too much. We need to get this over with ASAP.
Because he has guilt because he knows he slept with her.
Yeah. Possibility, you know, that he could be the father. He was like even upset about trying to take the test. You know, it's too much.
He was upset about taking the test because he know he's not my father. I heard that story from a family member.
Witness time. Ms. Chambers steps up and spills the tea about how the fam missed a prime DNA test opportunity. Her tales paint a picture of missed calls and mixed signals, stirring up all the family field. And just when you think everyone said their piece, there's more to come.
Ms. Chambers, you are
Tyrell's daughter's mother.
What do you have to add?
When she called me and said she had the baby, Tiara was at my house. I said, Tiara, she had the baby, want to go? What I'm going to the hospital for? Right then and there, y'all could have got a DNA test done on that day.
Why didn't Mish call? Why is she going through you all the time? She's a grown woman.
You're right. Why did she go through me? But
y'all don't like me. Y'all hate me. You with your child, you be a woman about it.
Hold on to your seats, folks. The judge dives into why no one from the Jones clan was vibing with the hospital visit when the baby was born. It's a mix of cold shoulders and eye rolls as past beefs bubble up, focusing on Ms. Brogdon's ex-escapades. The tension's thick enough to cut with a knife.
If there was a level of concern or belief one of 2 brothers could be this child's father, why didn't you go to the hospital? Did you not go because you didn't believe?
Baby daddies.
It don't matter. She has.
And
so that's why. That's someone.
It couldn't have been anybody. And the crazy thing is, Your Honor. So why she didn't tell me when I asked her to give me the
DNA time?
It has been determined by this court. Miss Christina Jones is related to Quamira Jones.
Judge Lake kicks off the case by diving into the drama about Creedle Jones's paternity. Ms. Yarlborough and Mr. Jones are teamed up, trying to show that Mr. Triplett isn't really part of the family. They're all about keeping their late dad's music money in the right hands. Meanwhile, Mr. Triplett's there, totally convinced Creedle Jones is his pops too. Let's see how they hash this one out, shall we?
In this very courtroom to prove the late Shy Lights member Creedle Jones was your biological father and that Michael Jones is your brother. The results from that case prove Creedle Jones is your father. Stand united together to protect father's legacy and musical estate, proving that Mr. Triplett is not your sibling.
Here comes a twist. Mr. Triplett steps up, super sure that he's Creedle's son. He's all about getting a warm welcome once the DNA results drop. Mr. Jones throws in his 2 cents, totally skeptical, because his family was like a tight-knit club, and Mr. Triplett was never mentioned. Plus, he's got those birth certificates signed by Creedle himself as his ace in the hole. Things are heating up. Get ready for the next bit.
Mr. Triplett, you state you've always known that Mr. Credell Jones is your brother, and you hope that once the DNA results are revealed, Ms. Yarbrough and Mr. Jones will welcome you with open arms. Mr. Triplett is your brother.
He claims that he's like 2 weeks older than me. As far as my life, I know my mother and father was always together from 1964 to 1974. We went on trips together.
Oh, snap! Mr. Triplett drops a bombshell. His birth cert doesn't name Credell Jones, which totally clashes with Mr. Jones's documents flaunting Dad's signature. This mix-up throws a wrench into the whole "are we siblings?" question, stirring up more mystery around their family ties. And just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, watch what happens next.
So, Mr. Triplett, is Mr. Jones on your birth certificate?
I've always been told Credell was the only father that I've ever had, so.
Your entire life? And you were told you had brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Let's be clear, he is a music legend, incredible contributions to the music industry. You were told that you were his child.
Yes.
Things just got real. Ms. Yarbrough isn't holding back, accusing Mr. Triplett of chasing after the cash instead of genuine family bonds. She's all about that deep connection to her dad, unlike Mr. Triplett, who seems to be eyeing the estate like it's lottery winnings. This clash of intentions is laying down some serious daytime drama vibes. Hang tight, because there's more where that came from.
Maybe you think it's a lot of money here. I don't know.
You think this is about money?
I'm upset because hear this. I hear everybody telling me what they had, and I mean, my mother told me that when he took care of me and my sister. When he went on the road, he sent my mom money. My older sisters and older cousins have memory of him, but I don't. My only memory of him was at 11 years old when he came to visit me and my sister. That's it.
Guess what's coming up? Mr. Fred Bugg's Music Biz Wiz, shedding light on just how loaded Credell Jones's estate really is. Thanks to a lifetime of hits and samples, we're talking big bucks. Fred's lowdown helps paint a picture of why everyone might be so eager to get a piece of the pie. Don't go anywhere. The reveal is just around the corner.
We want to understand the value of this estate. Can you shed light on that for us?
Sure can. You had a couple of great stand-up singing groups during the 70s. Temptation, Four Top, Shy Lights out of Chicago. Bunch of #1 songs on the R&B chart. The amount of sample that has been done throughout the years, publishing has got to be well into the millions by now.
And now, the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Triplett, Ms. Yarbrough, Mr. Irving Jones, and Mr. Michael Jones, you are related.
Oh boy, here we go. Miss Dixon is super ticked off because her hubby Steven keeps denying he's the dad of their kiddo, Anaya. She's been in hot water before for cheating, and now she's on a mission to prove that Steven is indeed the father. You'll want to stick around to see how this soap opera unfolds.
Ms. Dixon, you are furious that your husband Steven denied fathered your daughter, Tanea. You believe because you cheated in the past, he is holding previous mistake against you. You plan to prove paternity today.
Get a load of this. Mr. Hunt is throwing serious shade, doubting he's the father of little Tanaya because he once caught his wife stepping out on him. He's all geared up for the DNA results today, thinking they'll be the make or break for their rocky romance. Oh, the drama is just getting started.
Mr. Hunt, you state caught your wife cheating on you. You are convinced you did father 14-month-old Tanea. You say today's DNA results will determine the future of your marriage. You were ordered by couples court judges Dana and Cutler to appear in my courtroom.
I need to know if she's cheating on me. I have concerns if my daughter is mine.
Whoa, did that just happen? In a juicy bit, Mr. Hunt spills the beans about catching his wife red-handed with another dude in a car right outside their house. Mrs. Dixon doesn't even deny it. She admits she wanted to get caught to give Steven a taste of his own medicine. Grab your popcorn, because there's more where that came from.
How did you catch her?
Coming home from work, there's this car in the parking lot. So when I walk to the car, I hear the noises and I knock on the window and she blatantly give me the look like, "And so what? You see what I'm doing? Cheating."
So your wife was having sex with another man in a car out front of your house?
Yeah.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any spicier, Mrs. Dixon drops a bomb. She's pregnant. The timing is super sketchy, which only adds fuel to Mr. Hunt's fire of doubts. This baby drama is turning their marriage into a real-life telenovela.
How soon after that did you find out you're pregnant?
A couple of months after that happened.
What happens? Who do you tell? Your husband?
I told my husband.
And
because the due dates from the time I conceived her to the time they said I was due, I didn't sleep with him. That was a one night. That was a one-time thing.
But that's all it takes.
That's true.
Talk about a tangled web. During a heated chat, Mr. Hunt can't make heads or tails of the dates when he was away and when the baby making might have happened. It's a mess of he said, she said that's turning the courtroom into a circus. And guess what? The circus isn't leaving town just yet.
Everything else just went out of the window. I was just happy that I was having a baby girl.
And so at what point does the doubt kick in?
When I'm thinking about the time and I'm realizing that I was gone during the whole month of June. I got back basically July 1st. She's trying to tell me that when I left,
he was there with me on my birthdays.
I left.
How
the whole month
How
of
did
June,
you
I
get
did
back
not
in
come
July?
Hold the phone. There's a new twist. Out of the blue, Mrs. Hunt's aunt throws in her 2 cents, suggesting that Stephen's brother might be the real daddy because he was hanging around Mrs. Dixon while Stephen was out of town. Yup, the plot thickens, and it's getting thick fast.
She clearly cheated.
Well, he's gone. Why is he still there? I'm gonna take my brother with me.
Me cheating and then me sleeping with someone who's blood related to him. What characteristics have I shown you as you being my auntie that I'm that type of person? If I slept with somebody else who ain't no
you
kin to
intentionally
him,
willing to get caught in front of your own house. Clearly choose that you're that person.
Are you keeping up? Now, Mrs. Dixon's mom gets in on the action, swearing up and down that Stephen has got to be the dad because little Tania is practically his mini-me. She's not buying any of this brother drama. Fasten your seatbelt because there's still more craziness to come.
Who do you think is Tanae's biological father?
Steven.
And you believe that without a doubt?
She looked just like him.
and I tell my
And
mom
then by
everything.
saying it, rather no. It's suspicious. You just need to stay and mind your own business. That's
You put me in the business, I'm all the way here.
ain't
clearly.
nobody doing nothing. You being
Well, I'm
nosy
here.
and stuff. You act like you seen them doing it.
Not gonna believe this.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Chris Hunt, you are not the father.
Buckle up, folks. Mr. Rash is here today. And oh boy, he's not just here to chat about the weather. He's got a bone to pick, claiming his wife, Ms. Fuentes, has taken a few too many romantic detours, which is seriously messing with his peace of mind about whether he's the dad of their 2 munchkins. Stick around, Oh snap! Mr. Rash tells all about playing Mr. Mom for half a year because Ms. Fuentes was off the grid parenting-wise. She's not having any of it though. Don't go anywhere. Next,
Was there from day one. They're tattooed to my arm.
here comes a heart tugger with a twist. The judge points out how Mr. Rash has been the superhero dad. Doubts or no doubts. But wait, there's more. He's financially in it to win it too. What's the next curveball? Just you wait.
Mr. Rash, have the children. You're raised.
I mean, just because of all the cheating that she's done. I mean, like,
not
regardless, that I don't want them to think any different of me.
Cue the dramatic music. Enter Mr. Judd, potential dad numero dos, admitting yes, they had a fling, but the timing's fuzzy. Was it a parental home run or a strikeout? The suspense is eliminating me. Let's find out.
Did you have sex with Ms. Fuentes?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the nature of your relationship?
Pretty much just family, friend.
Do you believe you're her child's father?
Not really. Don't look like me at all.
Looks don't matter. She can take after my family.
But
She looks
the
like
time
me.
of conception matters. You understand that the time child was conceived, you were sleeping with her.
Correct.
And here's the big reveal. Drum roll, please.
When it comes to 2-year-old Gabriella, Mr. Judd, you are the father.
Oh my God.
Here we go. So, Judge Lake kicks off the drama by chatting with Ms. Thompson, who's all riled up because after her brother kicked the bucket, Ms. Lee started chasing the family for cash. Ms. Thompson's on a mission to prove her late bro is not the daddy of Ms. Lee's kid, little Nava'a. Strap in, folks, because things are about to get real juicy.
Ms. Thompson, you say that after your brother's sudden death just months ago, the defendant began harassing family for financial benefits, and you are here to defend his honor by proving he is not the biological father of her 3-month daughter, Nevaeh.
And bam, just like that, Ms. Lee fires back. She's 100% sure that the plaintiff's bro, Kevin Harris, is the father of her munchkin. She's staking her reputation on the DNA test, proving her right. Hold on to your popcorn, because Ms. Thompson is about to lose her cool.
Ms. Lee, you state plaintiff's brother, Kevin Harris, is 100% your daughter's father, and say today's result prove your case, clear your name.
Oh boy, did she just drop a bombshell. Ms. Thompson spills the tea about her brother, labeling Ms. Lee as a money-hungry, compulsive liar, and the crowd goes wild. You can almost hear the gasps. But wait, there's more drama brewing just around the corner.
My brother was 100% positive that he was not the father. He stated that Ms. Lee was a money-hungry, compulsive liar.
What else did he tell you?
Well, he told me that basically she was just one of the ladies he was sleeping with at the time, and she claimed to be pregnant by him.
But he did not believe that.
No.
You're not gonna believe this one. Ms. Lee recounts the magical moment she thinks she got pregnant, saying her body just knew right after the deed. The judge and everyone else are scratching their heads because, come on, really? But stick around, because the judge's next question is a doozy.
He called me and I was hanging out with friends at a hotel. He came and got me. We went to the house. We did what we did after that, and my body reacted
So you were
changing
pregnant
automatically. And I went to the store the next day and I got 2 pregnancy tests and they both came positive. Called him and he said, "Oh, that's not my baby," because he had multiple women.
Grab the tissues, it's about to get a tad emotional. Ms. Thompson talks about the tough times following her brother's untimely exit from the world. Turns out Ms. Lee was allegedly snatching stuff from his house right after he passed. It's a real mess, folks, and just when you think it can't get any messier, oh, it does.
That Miss Lee and another one of his acquaintances went to his house and started collecting belongings that belonged to him. It was the principle behind that, because if she would have came to us and just said, hey, I want something to remember him by, because we probably wanted a piece of him.
Why would I do that in the way y'all said?
Like I
never
said,
liked
I didn't know you at that time.
You still don't know.
Exactly. She would have came to us in the proper way.
Hold the phone. The DNA results are in. And guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Nevaeh Harris is related to Miss Thompson. That is your brother's child.
You still don't.
Strap in, folks. This one's a doozy. Mrs. Gangster steps up to the plate, spilling the tea that she thinks her husband is the dad of one twin and her boyfriend is the papa of the other. She paints a picture of her life in total chaos since finding out she was going to have twins, muddling through the who's the daddy drama. And guess what? Roller coaster is just taking off.
Miss Gangster, you have opened your case today because you say your life has been in turmoil the moment you learned you were pregnant with twins. You are convinced your husband fathered your 8-month-old son, Richard. Also believe your boyfriend, Mr. Stacy, fathered your son's twin sister, Raylan.
Oh boy, here we go. Mr. Ramey steps into the ring, swearing up and down he's not the father of either kid, while Mr. Stacy is all in, claiming he's the daddy to both. Talk about a plot twist in the making. It's like a soap opera, but wait, there's more popcorn-worthy drama ahead.
Mr. Ramey, you state there is no way you fathered either one of your wife's twins and intend to prove that today. Mr. Stacy, you believe you fathered both twins.
Just when you thought it couldn't get wilder, Mrs. Gangster recounts a real soap opera scenario involving her hubby, and her side guy that might have led to the twins being It's got all the spice of a daytime drama, including a confession from Mr. Ramey about a risque rendezvous while her boyfriend was just in the next room. Fasten your seatbelts, because this tale spirals even crazier.
December 15th, John, Keisha, Scotty, and I was at the house. Scotty and John were working on the bathroom to get it fixed up. After they had gotten the floor put down, Scotty went into our room and John said, come look at the bathroom. He said, we got to talk about the kids. Close the door. And then one thing led to another and we had sex.
Hold on to your socks because they're about to be knocked off. We dive into the messy love triangle, or is it a square, with Mrs. Gangster, her husband, and her boyfriend, sharing too many close encounters in too short a time. It's a mix-up that makes you want to ask for a scoreboard to keep track of the players, and you won't believe the curveball coming next.
And then, Miss Gangster, when do you reconnect with Mr. Stacy?
After John and Keisha had left the house that night, went and picked him up from walking up the road and brought him back to the house and told him I was sorry and asked him to stay.
And then how soon after that do you start having sex with Mr. Stacy?
It was that night.
As the truth slowly unravels, everyone's on edge. Mrs. Gangster breaks down the timeline of her pregnancy right alongside her bedroom Olympics with both contenders. This key piece of info ties the conception dates back to her tales of passion, suggesting either dude could be daddy. But hang tight, there's a revelation just around the corner that'll really stir the pot.
It was September 17th was the final due date.
And from that, you calculated or they calculated a window of conception.
When they gave me the due date, they also gave me a paper. Baby A, which was Richard, was 5 weeks and 2 days. Raylan was 5 weeks, 4 days.
That was how many weeks, days after you had slept with both of them?
I was 5.5 weeks.
Grab your snacks. The main event is about to be unleashed.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Stacy.